Yeah. Okay. So
We'll do a little introduction.
Chasing turkeys.
Talking turkey.
Talking turkeys.
So yeah, I'm joined today by the one and only Danny Hart. Long-time friends, haven't seen each other for a while. Started riding in the same place, Humpsley Forest. And I know one of us has become pretty famous, and Danny's just carried on riding his bike.
And you seem like quite the big guy around here, Jimmy. I can see that when I'm at all these events, and they're all cheering for you.
That's good. Everyone's been pretty excited
Skyline legend.
No, people were pretty excited when they heard you were coming over. And I was excited as well. I've been pretty keen for you to come over for a while. Were you meant to be out in 2020 before the COVID shit happened?
No, to be honest, I don't think so. I came out here, the last time I was here was in 2009, and I stayed in Christchurch with Justin Leo and did the whole South Island, national series, and I really loved it, but, I didn't have any responsibilities or anything then. I was still a junior.
That was first year Lapierre, or second year.
I came here with Lapierre, so, that was the year before for our team camp, and where we did all our videos and all that, and we travelled around we landed in Auckland and we got all the way down here to Queenstown, and we were only here for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So you can imagine we weren't stopping.
A pretty quick trip.
Yeah, so then I was like, I need to go back because the riding's amazing and the weather's good, and it's just a really good atmosphere. And then I've got into racing the World Cup. Well, I was already racing World Cups, and just I bought a house at home when I won World Champs in 2011, and then just became a bit of a home bird, to be fair, after travelling all season. Even though it's only in and around Europe pretty much for the World Cups, I just like to be at home in my winters. And then it started wearing thin a long time ago, but obviously I've got kids and a wife, and for us all to come over here would be quite
pretty expensive. Yeah, especially admin with young kids on planes and bikes.
My eldest now she's nearly 4, and she's a full ticket now, so it's 3 tickets that we'd have to pay.
Yeah.
Then I'd have to rent a house and all that stuff. But this, the start of this off season and end of last season, I was starting to think, I'd like to come over here. We spent a bit of time with Blinky, and not that I've seen Blinky much while I've been here, because obviously he's in Christchurch and we're in Queenstown. It's quite far. But I thought I'd love to go over again.
Yeah.
And I knew that my circumstances were going to change with the bike. So I just wanted to come over here after Christmas and the New Year and just do 3 weeks of just riding pretty much every day.
Yeah.
Just getting time on a bike, whatever bike it's going to be.
Yeah.
And it's been brilliant. I've done more. I think I've done best part of 90 runs in. I come
2.5, 3 weeks.
And I'm leaving on the 31st. So
and
that's in a week's time. And I've done more runs in say 2.5 weeks than I would have done in 3 to 4 months at home.
Yeah.
And good runs as well, like Coronet, Cadrona, and Skyline.
Yeah. Does it help having the other riders around as well? Because you've obviously been able to ride with sort of Eddie and.
At home, typically I just ride on my own.
Yeah.
And then when we come to the World Cups, I've always just rode on my own. And it's something that I do potentially need to do, maybe moving forward, is ride with different people.
Yeah.
Drag me up to speed a little bit more, maybe. And that has been really good. And where I'm staying with Bernard in Arthur's Point, there's just riders here, there, and everywhere. And there's not a day goes by where there's not somebody going riding the CRF hundreds,
yeah,
trail ride up the hill, e-bike ride, golf, yada yada yada. There's just something going on all the time. And it's actually been tricky because I'm here to train and ride, and sort of to be mature about it. Like I should have probably a couple of times, like today, for example. It's meant to be a rest day. Went and played golf, which is fine for a rest day.
Yeah.
And then we had the option to go and ride somebody's private CRF, like pit bike track.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't let this
Can't
go.
say no.
So then I went and did that for an hour or so.
Mm.
And it was just like a great time. And every day is like that.
Yeah.
Hardly had any rain, and the rain we have had makes the tracks awesome.
It's been needed.
It's like trippy for me because at home you open the curtains and it's pouring down. You're like, oh, another day, another wet, horrible ride.
Yeah.
When I hear you,
Clean your
open
bike.
the curtains and it's like, yes, it's raining, and I'm like, you sure this is a good thing? Because this rain looks pretty set in.
Yeah.
But typically, midday will come around.
Yeah.
The sun will come out, and the trails will be awesome.
Yeah, it gets so deep. I think the first week you were here, it was probably like pretty deep in dust already. And that dust just freaking soaks it all up so quick.
I went to Coronet, because I was waiting for my Skyline pass to come. The Skyline hooked me up with a pass, which is really cool, but it took a few days for it to land.
Mm.
And
change of management, slowing things down.
Yeah, it's not you anymore. And so I ended up at Coronet a couple times, and it was super blown out. But the thing with that track is, as blown out as it gets, it's still quite predictable.
Yeah.
So it was really good. But I've rode up there quite a few times, and now it's getting borderline a bit dodgy.
Yeah.
The faster you go, the faster you go, the faster you go, and it's hard to find the limit up there.
There's almost doesn't seem to be a limit.
You don't really want to find the limit.
Yeah.
Typically, when you find the limit, you end up on your head.
Yeah, it's too late.
You don't really want to do that up there.
No.
So yeah.
So saying before you came over, I've always kind of wondered: is Queenstown kind of like something that lots of people talk about as somewhere that they would like to go and train in the off season? Is it becoming more of a destination than what it already is for people of your level?
Over the past few years, I guess that's why I've wanted to come.
Mm.
More like the social media thing. You see people riding the jumps like Hookia must be the most filmed jump line throughout the months of January through March in the world. And you're like, oh God, that looks awesome. I'm here wringing wet in the middle of a Welsh valley somewhere.
Yeah.
So I do think it's gotten more popular, and there's just so many riders here.
Yeah. It's gone since I've been here just shy of 10 years, and even in that amount of time, it's just unreal how many bikes you see on the back of cars. So for the people that must have been here sort of, when you were here the first time, it must have felt like it wasn't a bike town.
Because it wasn't a bike town then, to be fair. You had Skyline.
But it wasn't open.
Was it even Skyline back then?
No, you could ride the bike park was there. I don't know if it was officially a bike park, but there was trails there. But
I did
the access wasn't open.
Tim from Vertigo, he ran a race up there.
Yeah.
And we shuttled. But was Skyline even here then?
The gondola's been here for years, yeah. And I think Vertigo started by doing exclusive lifts on the freight deck. Now they just put the stuff in the cabins, but the old one, it used to have almost like a forklift looking deck that would go around. They put food on that.
Right.
And so they'd load the bikes onto that because there was no hooks on the cabin. And that's how they would, only Vertigo had access to that. And then eventually.
It was a carry on. It wasn't
Yeah, it was a mess around, yeah. And it was only if there was no food to go up, So it was a bit of a mess around. And then it was 2010. They trialed, I think it was January 2010, they did the bike trials. And then from September 2010, it opened officially for the first time. And then, I've been here since 2014.
So you didn't quite get the start?
No, I was a few years after.
The initial struggles, I guess.
Yeah.
Running a bike park.
No.
What was quite eye-opening for me was when I landed in Queenstown at the airport, and you can see bike people everywhere. Whereas if you're in Europe, or if I'm in Manchester Airport and you see a bike person, without sounding big-headed, they would always know who you were.
Yeah.
Whereas here, there's that many bike people, and they aren't necessarily people that troll through pink bike. They just enjoy riding bikes.
Yeah.
So it was like quite funny actually to see all the bikes,
Yeah.
bike riders in the airport.
I think you definitely have like a couple of different people here. There's people that almost make the point to not be on social media and to not
Yeah.
follow the pink bike,
Yeah.
and there's probably quite a few of them actually. So it's like, and again, they know they're going to meet people because people do turn up, so they just normally meet people in person rather than see them on the internet first.
Yeah, and it's funny, like, I sound like I'm being super big-headed, but not that many people really recognise you. Whereas if you go and line up in Morzine on the Plenty, you can hear people, oh, there's so-and-so, there's so-and-so, there's so-and-so. People taking pictures of you in the distance.
Yeah.
It's not really that like that here. It's quite nice.
Yeah, which has definitely probably been good for you as of late, you know.
Good,
Obviously, you probably can't not talk about you here riding. Mm-hmm. But the thing we can say is you're definitely racing downhills next year.
Oh, yeah, I'll be on the start line. No matter
there's a
what.
start line, and then there's a team still to sort out at this stage.
Everything's in motion, and it'll all come around. That's pretty much all.
But the pink bike commenters don't need to worry.
No, I'll be there. I'll be on the start line.
Yeah.
I haven't come here for holidays. People might think, as much as it has been epic, like a holiday, I've been riding a lot.
Yeah.
And I've never ridden this much in all of my life, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm here preparing, riding a bike for the season.
Yeah.
So.
Overall, how do you feel in like preparation to previous years? Do you always feel pretty consistent, or do you have like off seasons where you come in and some years you're just like, fuck, I'm not feeling it this year, or damn, I'm feeling good, can't wait to rip the head off the first round, or are you pretty good at?
I don't really know, to be fair. I just go through it, do what I have to do. And
yeah.
This year is obviously a lot different because I've spent a month here.
Yeah.
So, but no, I'm still raring to go and training hard. And once I get back home, the training, I'm trying to be as structured as I can here.
Yeah.
But when things pop up here and things pop up there, and like yesterday, I had my knee pads and my riding shoes on from 9:30 in the morning to 8 p.m.
Yeah.
So today was a bit of a light day, but tomorrow I'll be like out training.
Yeah, a full 9-hour shift. You'll be clocking in, clocking out.
You tradies and you guys that work hard, that every day it's different, but I don't. So
yeah.
But no, I'm training super hard. It's the same as every year, you know. It's.
I feel like out of most, like the downhill guys, you're seen as one of the guys that is most dedicated to putting the hard work in. Do you feel like you do? You try to do that, or has that just always been natural?
It's funny, like, because I'm around a lot of like top racers here, and things seem to be way more blasé.
Yeah.
Around me here than what I typically know.
What do you mean?
I have a plan for the week.
Yeah.
And if I have intervals on Monday morning and gym on on Monday afternoon and X on Tuesday, like I do that.
You're
then.
strict, yeah.
I don't move it around within reason. Like today, I had my days mixed up today, to be fair. I thought I had to do something and I was beat. I was tired this morning.
Yeah.
So things got moved around. But typically, if I have to do intervals in the morning, I'll be out there doing them and they won't get moved.
Yeah.
Whereas I see things and it's a little different.
Yeah. Well, it's each to their own process, I guess.
Yeah.
But I guess that's like, you kind of come across like, don't take this the wrong way, I don't mean it that way, but like very sort of like more like machine-like than most.
I think like people have seen me on Adam Brayton's vlogs and Bernard's vlogs, and they really like see a different side of me because when I'm at a World Cup, I potentially am like machine-like, you know. I am not going there to.
Well, again, look at it.
Around, you know.
Yeah, well, look at it like you're. Like I said earlier, like a trader at 9-hour shift, he's not there to mess around. Yeah, he's there to.
I do have a good time away from that. Like
Yeah.
me and Brayton, we like laugh no end all day when we hang out together all day,
Yeah.
and then here like the same. Like it's actually been really good for me coming here because I feel like I isolate myself a little bit at World Cups with my approach and trying to.
Do you think that's a bit to your home body as well? You're saying
Yeah, maybe.
you
Yeah.
like having the camper there.
Yeah. And then, so I don't like hang out as much at races, but here's been really good for my like social side of things.
Yeah.
I'm like yesterday, I did the little race that we had here in Skyline, and then I was really nervous about going up to Dream because I'd been up there and
They're big jumps. Yeah.
Hadn't done anything like that for a long time.
Mm.
And then it was the whip off. And I was sort of thinking of excuses to try and get out of Dream to the whip off because like the whole vibe and like it's not really like my thing. Like everybody's hanging out and cool guys like slopestyle like style and vibes, and I'm like, I should go and do this because it'll be good for me. To go and hang out in big groups like that because I don't really do that at home. So so I was like quite sounds a bit soft but proud of myself yesterday. I went and did Dream. It's super easy, and everybody tells me it's super easy, but I'm not going to lie, it's quite intimidating.
Fuck yeah, it's super intimidating.
Like you went up there the other day on your own, did you?
No, I had the housemate as a backup to call my call the ambulance.
It looked like you were there on your own. I was like, that's.
I used to drop in. I used to do like McNeely Nally, which is the little jump line, and you can pop out there, and then rather than like push to the top, I just keep going. You can kind of link in from the third, and I'd do the bottom half as a full run from McNeely Nally.
I only did the top ones because that's what the jam will be on. Right?
Yeah. You normally go around to the corner and then the step up.
Yeah.
Just because then it's like a nice continuous loop.
Oh, so you go.
So you do like top 5, I guess.
Yeah,
there's like a little setup one.
Big double hip.
Little setup jump hip. Yeah. And step up.
I guess they all just come together when you go down.
Yeah.
They're really well made, aren't they? But I heard the weather could be coming in, so.
Yeah. Well. Hopefully, I actually quite like it if they're running slower than fast. So hopefully, if it rains in the morning, it might be like ideal for.
It won't be dry, guys.
No, wear your rain jackets.
Yeah, but no, it's been really good. I've really enjoyed it. And I have a commitment when I get home. Like I'm only home for a week, and then I'm heading to Chattel for the snowbike world champ.
Sweet. I wasn't sure if you were going to mention that or not.
Potentially stayed because also originally that wasn't on my radar. Super last minute, it's come up.
Yeah.
I would have potentially stayed because when I get home, when I was originally going home, I was only home for a week, and then my wife and the kids were heading away on holiday for, I think, a week to 10 days. So I would have only saw them for a week.
Yeah.
I would have potentially stayed and then gone back when they were coming back. But now I'm going to go back and do the first snowbike world champ.
Sweet. Is this how did that come about? Is that through curiosity or?
No, it was super last minute. Cedric Gracia is the ambassador for it.
Yeah.
He sent me a voice note.
Yeah.
Or a message or whatever it was. And it's literally like when I've been here. So, like I said, I got here on January the 6th. And the race in Chattel is the 9th, 10th, 11th of February.
Yeah.
So it's a real short turnaround. Typical UCI sort of messing us around. And I'm going to go back and do that.
You must be, obviously you're pretty open-minded because you're going to go and compete, but what was your first thoughts when you heard about snowbiking? Were you like, what is this?
Well, I was intrigued because there's a few things that I do think they need to figure out with it. It's like, so tyres, for example.
Yeah.
They need to make a rule where you cannot use spike type, like
studded
tires, because the brands certain riders might be riding might not make that at the moment.
I only know what Schwalbe makes them, and
yes, they do.
That's it. I don't know of anyone else.
So the tyre manufacturers don't necessarily make these tyres.
Yeah.
So then said like factory riders
Yeah.
can't go and use whatever tyres they want.
Yeah.
But if you're just a guy from Chattel and
You can go and buy Swalbies and you have that.
or you can retrofit studs to your own tyres.
Yeah.
Then it's a totally unfair.
I was going to say, you might be going to B&Q and buying some freaking self-tappers.
These big tyre manufacturers are not going to be down with riders just
screwing tyres.
You know, like that comes back on them if something happens. So the UCI do need to, in my opinion, make a rule where metal studded tyres aren't allowed.
Yeah.
Because they've made a rule where you have to use the same bike for Super G and slalom.
Also, there's two styles of snow racing.
Not two rainbow jerseys.
Yeah.
Both events make one.
Like complement each other.
Combined. How I've got the reds on my computer, but they'll combine it.
So the Super G is like, I guess, like the big like ski slalom. Yeah.
Let's take like what we would know as a downhill.
Yeah.
And slalom is you're racing head to head.
Oh, right. Yeah. So like, do you know if it's like four cross or dual slalom style? Dual slalom.
It's technically just like a winter when you watch a downhill skiing World Cup.
Yeah.
Slalom. It's the same as that.
Same, but on bikes. Yeah. And I guess downhill bike will probably be bike of choice, are people thinking? Or can you see bikes getting sort of modified quite a bit? Because I guess snow's probably is a bit more forgiving than roots and rocks.
Open at the moment. But the goal of it is, I believe, to get it downhill snow bike in the Olympics.
Oh, right.
Because if you look, they do a cyclocross World Cup in Val di Sol
in
the winter. And that's another thing. I think they want to get that in the Winter Olympics.
Yeah.
So downhill is going to... I think that's what they're shooting for.
Yeah. Oh.
I thought... And it's a rainbow jersey.
Also, it's the World Champs is the event that's coming up. Right.
Got 2 rainbow jerseys.
I thought,
why not try and get 3?
Add a third, yeah.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, it's a rainbow.
It's a world championship.
If you can say, yeah. So I'm going to go and give it a go and see how it is. Hopefully it'll be a success. And
yeah, well, you could be the first winner of that, as you were the first winner of Rebel Hardline back a few years ago. That was, what was that?
My authority on that one, and then don't ever need to go back.
Yeah, I was going to say, it was probably your last ride on Giant, wasn't it?
It was. That was my last race on Giant.
Yeah.
The last one. Was that 2014?
Yeah.
It's a long time
That's a while ago now. It's 9 years. It's crazy to look at now how that course has changed. Have you been and had a look at that course as it is now?
Went and watched Hardline when Jackson won.
Yeah.
So that was... who won the last one?
Jackson Golson won the last one, I think, didn't he? Or was it Bernie? No, I think it was Jackson.
I don't know. Anyway, when Sophia was in the hospital and Darcy was sick, me and Sadie went up and had a watch. And we got a hotel. And so, yeah. And I was planning on doing it then. However, Darcy wasn't very well. She was in hospital for a long time, so my head wasn't really in the game.
No.
So I didn't do it, but I went and watched. And I think, personally, I think it looks okay until it doesn't.
Yeah.
Like, when you watch the lads do the big jumps in the middle in Wales at Hardline, it looks a piece of cake.
Yeah.
But when it doesn't look a piece of cake, when you see, like, Bernard crashed on it.
Jesus, that was so gnarly. Yeah.
I don't really...
It was kind of no fault of his own as well. Went a bit deep.
Yeah. Like, I would be fine, and I was all about doing it that year, but like I just said, my head wasn't in the right place, and it wasn't actually possible because, I couldn't leave Sadie at the time. So.
Yeah, but that's the right choice to make at the time. I think you're not going to regret doing that, but you would regret entering in something,
Yeah,
who's
ended up in the mate wagon.
Yeah, exactly. When you're meant to be supporting her, so.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know. I think it's in the middle of the season this year, which is a little dodgy.
Yeah.
In fact, last year it got cancelled because of the
weather. That was right.
So
Yeah.
I never went last year. It was the year before.
The year before, yeah.
Jackson smoked everyone.
Yeah.
It's actually quite impressive to watch.
What do you think of the speaking of events, obviously we've got USI bringing in snow bikes. Hardline looks to be like, for me, I feel like the pinnacle of downhill racing at the moment, in my opinion, but obviously the pinnacle is still World Cup racing.
Yeah.
But it seems to have took like a funny turn last year a bit.
I'm struggling a little bit with the hardline thing because they're going absolutely mental.
Yeah.
And you don't want people to be getting seriously injured.
No, you don't want to be stitching people up.
If Red Bull put their name to anything, it'll be typically a success.
Mm.
There are other energy drinks
available. Yeah.
Monster. But Red Bull do put on a good event.
Yeah.
And I don't know where the line is. Like they're building jumps over 100 feet big.
Yeah.
Where are we gonna just chill down a little bit? Like maybe I'm
I thought
old and what have you, but yeah, like red line,
hardline.
That's
Red Bull.
Hardline.
Yeah.
Red Bull could do something, tone it back, and it could still be more gnarly effectively than the World Cup, because I think that's what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
And it would be a success. But when they're doing this, it's like...
What do you think? There's egos involved in the builders as well, though, so it's not just...
Yeah,
it's
I don't know.
builders wanting to try and be the next...
I don't know. But yeah, it's definitely getting out there now.
Because it's not really a cool sport when you're sort of sending people to their freaking potentially hospital every round for
so
essentially no reason.
Like the track in Wales, like it's really good. Like, but there's not much downhill in it anymore.
Well,
and I don't know how you do that, because when you have a jump that is, you have two jumps that are 100 foot long, give or take.
Yeah.
There's 200 feet of track that is now just huge jump.
Gone, yeah.
And then above that, there was a little bit of a downhill bit that's been in there for a long time.
Yeah.
Then above that was a big jump that's a big step down where you lose lots of elevation. And your hill's only so big.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I think that I'd be intrigued to see how much technical downhill's in the Australia one, because obviously in Wales you have the weather.
Yeah.
Which causes issues with the downhill part. Whereas in Australia...
Well, if they wanted to take it around the world and pretty much have the same event, almost like you could take like Supercross as an example. Like a 450 can go, if you wanted to, freaking 200 foot, but they don't make it. But they don't make a 200 foot trip. They haven't said Supercross isn't gnarly enough. Let's make a bigger triple. They've said this is a triple, and obviously over the years got steeper, but like whoops and gnarly or whatever. But it still kind of got to a standard, and we still watch it because it's freaking good. So I don't see why
where it's gonna go.
I feel like they almost need that template and have, because they've got the same builder, don't they? Or one of the same builders in from Dovey to.
Is it a guy called? I don't know, but Dan Atherton's over there.
Oh, is he?
Speak like wrecking it with them.
Yeah.
So obviously he was the OG hardline builder.
Yeah, sort of his brainchild.
Is really,
yeah.
I do think it's left his, because he has the bike park now, so he doesn't have the whole focus on hardline anymore. But he's still the gaffer of it.
Yeah,
in Wales.
Which is fair.
Yeah, and I think he's over here in Tassie looking at it.
Yeah. No, good. Yeah, I think almost if you almost did just have a limit to, if you just said no jumps allowed over 90 foot, I don't think anyone's going to be complaining about it.
No.
And then if you could just say, like, we need to incorporate, imagine freaking Andorra, like probably,
Yeah.
or like Val d'Isole, which are the gnarliest technical tracks probably, and then throwing
That is what hard, like,
a
hard
90-footer in the
was
middle.
when I did it. Like, the bits in between, sketchy.
Yeah.
And the jumps, yes, the jumps weren't as savage as they are. Well, no, that's wrong, actually.
I
They
remember
were
there's
as savage
pretty pinpoint,
because
weren't they,
they
from
were like way steeper.
snipery.
Whereas now, I think Alpha's calmed down on making like freestyle motocross jump.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do have one big metal ramp, but I think it's more mellow than it has been in the past.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the bits in between, like were mental.
Yeah.
They still have that rock garden in
Is
what
that
like
before?
the road gap.
Yeah.
But that's like super just junk.
Yeah, I've never seen it in like real life, only from videos, and it's never a.
Like microwave size rocks.
Yeah. Yeah, like videos just never do anything justice, and even like until you're actually riding something as well, it's just a totally different like kettle of fish.
Yeah, I would do that one again. I think.
Yeah.
My ass would be nipping at them big jumps.
As part of the fun though as well, overcoming that.
Yeah, but there's like, without being rude, there's way less riders than me doing it. So
Yeah.
I think it would be fine. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
So going to back to the World Cups themselves though.
Sorry, we digressed there.
No, that was good. We're all about just chatting about everything. It's talking turkey after all. But the World Cups, like, how did, like, last year, I guess, had the biggest shake-up for a long time with the semis and all the rest of it. Again, I feel like going back to you being a bit more robotic than most, was it something that you just felt like, oh, this is the new
like,
guidelines?
The idea of coming into that would be good for me because I do lots of fast full runs.
Yeah.
It didn't really go as well as I would have liked.
Yeah.
Like I never got out the semi-finals once because I crashed in snowshoe.
Yeah.
To qualifying really well, and I go 100% in any sort of maybe not so much time training, but anything where there's some points to be had.
Yeah.
I'll give it everything I can.
You're going for a championship, you're not?
Yeah. Well, I wasn't really in a championship hunt, but yeah. And then, so I crashed after qualifying good. So had that not been a semi, you can maybe accept crashing in a final, pushing hard.
Yeah.
I didn't get into the final.
But that dropped you a huge amount of points.
Yeah, at this point I wasn't really. I never ride thinking about the points, but the only way I can do it is go full gas. And that day, my team manager said you need to ride.
Conservative, sort of.
Conservative, potentially. I says, well, what are you talking about? Ride conservative, like.
It's not in my vocabulary.
Do you think really he's riding conservative? Do you think no one's riding conservative? Well, when you ride conservative is when you potentially make the mistake.
Well, imagine also not making the cut because you rode conservative. You were so pissed. I'd rather crash knowing I was riding hard than miss out.
Guys, so you've got 60 guys going for 30 places, and the time gaps are so small. There's no riding conservatively.
No.
So. Yeah, and then other times I just had bad weekends, and I got in every final bar the one.
Yeah.
But and then once in, and I was in the final. No, so I'd qualified. Then in the semi-final, I think I was maybe 6th or 7th.
Yeah.
And typically, if that was the final, you would maybe up your game a tiny bit. So that's 6th or 7th in the semi-final.
Yeah.
Could have been. What coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Yeah.
But it rained for the semi-final, and I did really well.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even a crazy run. But then I went in the final, was ready to go, give it everything, and crashed within the first 15 seconds.
Oh.
Yeah, it was just like, it was a difficult season. I knew for a little while that the team weren't re-signing me.
Yeah.
So I had that in my head also.
Was that like how far through the season was that?
There was a few races left to go.
Yeah.
I can't exactly remember when. But yeah, that was a bit of a shock. Like there was no lesser offer or nothing like that. It was just it's done.
And there was that. Do you think more because of all these budget cuts that everyone's talking about, or just that was just how it was going to go with that team, and that was that?
The,
Obviously, there's probably stuff you can't say, but
yeah, I guess budget cuts. Like, I cost them a lot of money. I was on a good contract, and the first guy that the most expensive thing is probably the first guy that
yeah,
takes a cut, gets the kick. So I think that's what happened.
Yeah. We've that's you kind of interested to know. We've obviously gone around teams. Again, you probably might not be able to shed too much light on this, but did you feel like there was many people trying to take advantage of your situation? Was there anyone that you reached out to, and then again, you don't have to say names or don't have to answer at all, but like, I imagine it's a sport where people are pretty good at like keeping things under wraps, and so people can probably get away with a lot of shady shit, and nothing's ever really said because it never comes to light. And I imagine that's probably the contract years, and people sort of not saying
everybody's ducking and diving, and everybody's speaking to the same people, and you find out somebody else has got something that you thought you had a good chance of getting or had lined up. But yeah, it's just business, isn't it? It's tricky. It's like everybody thinks you have it super good and super easy, making lots of money riding your bike, all this, you travel the world, you do this, and I'm traveling the world and I'm riding my bike. But there's not that many industries in the world where you have to get a new job every 3 years.
Yeah, because what's a typical contract? Is it 3 years?
Yeah, is a good one.
Yeah.
And 2, and then down to 1.
Yeah.
You typically don't really want to be signing a 1.
No.
Just within 3, 4, 5 months, you're
getting used to the bike.
Talking about next year already, because you can't leave these things down till the very last minute. Everybody, it's dog eat dog.
Yeah, everyone's wanting that contract.
And anybody who thinks the teams all just come to you, that's not how it works neither. You've got to put in the work, and lots of emails being sent.
Yeah. So you've been a bit of a keyboard warrior lately?
It's been busy trying to get things sorted.
Because do you have a manager? Is managers much of a thing?
No, I just work on it myself and Sophia, the wife.
Yeah.
Try and get it sorted.
Because is it a thing that many people have, a manager for contract signing? But it's not really much of a.
There's a couple of managers around, but I think that's for people that don't really know many people in the industry and don't want to talk to them themselves.
Yeah.
I think the brands appreciate it much more when they speak.
Yeah.
To the subject, if you like.
Which is fair. I guess if that's the way it's always been done as well, it'll probably be quite weird somebody coming and approaching you on someone else's behalf.
Be able to say to a team manager, "I'll just speak to my manager. I'll speak to my agent."
Yeah.
I don't think I would like to say that to them.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting though, because I thought there was actually a bit more of that, but now you say it.
That's what it's like in the football world, isn't it? Like, if a footballer is having problems with the team,
but they're almost a bit of property, aren't they? Yeah. I'll kind of go off that subject because obviously, we can probably. We know things are happening, which is good, but don't want to step in anything we're not able to. But one thing I was actually before this, I was actually interested. So 2-time world champion, 2011. You obviously won your first. What were you, 20 years old?
I was born in 91, so yeah.
Yeah. So
I was 1920.
1920. It's probably around.
It was probably around my 20th birthday.
Yeah. How did you feel, now looking back, are you happy? If you could change it, would you obviously still want the world championship, but do you wish you could have won it at a later date once you kind of had a bit? Or are you happy to have got it done early days?
I could never wish to change that, could I?
No. Well, if it happened in the same way, but
the way I did it, and that set me up for I'm not going to say for life, but because it's definitely not setting me up for life.
Yeah.
The way it's been lately. But no, that was fantastic.
Yeah.
And that year, I was on the podium week in, week out. I think I had second or third in the overall.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was in 2012. I was on the podium a lot, but then I got injured. Then there was a few years where it was hard going,
Yeah.
and it took me to 2016 to win again.
Was that on the you on Mondraker then?
I was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I was on Mondraker, and then I won again in 19.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be due another one. So
Yeah, coming up soon. Well, we got to every 8 years.
yeah. But
But
there's not many people that have won World Cups,
no, not really.
especially World Champs as well. Because
Yeah.
like Nico that won them for however many years
Yeah.
he did. Sam won a few. Steve won one.
No likes
Greg
cleaning them
won
up.
one, and then Bruni's won
5, I think, isn't he? Or
I
6
don't know,
now.
it's 6, but I don't know if that's including
Junior.
junior and what have you. Yeah, there's not many people that have won them.
Yeah.
So it's quite a good thing too.
How did you fit? Because you must have obviously watched that run because it's been everywhere.
Yeah.
Can you remember like when you first looked back on it, like listening to Rob's commentary and stuff? Did you hear like a lot of quotes before you saw it as well? Because obviously there's a few good quotes from that run.
No, it's a long time.
You've probably heard a lot since then.
Yeah, I get it all the time.
Follows you around.
Yeah, I was in the pub. I was in Cargo, the pub in Arthur's Point the other day, and some chap just comes up to me and says, "How do you sit down?" And I'm like, really, like, I'm just here with a couple mates, and you come up and that's all you have to say to me.
Yeah.
Like, as if I've never heard it before. I hate to sound miserable or anything, but sometimes there's a time and a place.
How many times do you think you've heard that though? Got to be thousands, easily thousands.
Because it pops up quite often on.
I must watch it like once a year for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Even like when you came over, my girlfriend's like pretty new to riding. She didn't know anything about it, and I said, "Look, this is all you need to know about Danny. Just watch it." And she was like, I understand the references now. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, there's lots of people still quote it.
Yeah.
And then, but 2016 was even, like I won 3 World Cups and World Champs.
Yeah. You've managed to do it on probably the gnarliest courses.
Like, I'm not being big-headed, but those runs like them, like even Worlds in Chomprey,
yeah,
it was just quite easy. Like,
yeah,
and then the 3 that I won, and in snowshoe in 19,
yeah,
days like that, everything just comes easy.
Yeah, you didn't feel sort of.
It is when it's
harder work. So you didn't feel like any pressure on those days. It was just kind of like the week had been going well up to that point.
Like Worlds in 16, when I'd won the 3 World Cups leading into it. Like, well, if I'd won 1 World Cup that season, like it would have almost been a success.
Yeah.
To go and win another, and then the World Champs. It was like,
on a bike,
whatever happens now doesn't really matter. It was a shame the season ended.
Yeah. Was that because I'd heard like lots of people sort of weren't very fond of that bike. Obviously you.
Which bike?
The Saracen. It obviously worked for you quite well. So I always found it quite weird.
Well, the season before that, I was on the top 5 in the World Cup overall.
Yeah.
Didn't have a great season. Not many like standout results, but I was really consistent.
Yeah.
And then when in 19, I think I must have been in the top 5. I was really good in the overall. Because, I was there all week, every weekend. And then when you're there every weekend, makes a win. Obviously, the probability.
It's kind of the next step, yeah.
So that's what I need to get back to. And then there'll be a win on the horizon. Once you're putting it on it's like when you're putting it in the top 10 every week for people coming up. It's in like categories, isn't it? If you get in the top 20 week in, week out, then you'll start getting in the top 10 week in, week out. Then you'll get on a podium. Then that'll become a thing.
Yeah.
And then you're shooting to win. And obviously the last couple of seasons haven't been fantastic.
Yeah.
But there's been glimpses of speed.
Mm.
Like in Ludenville last season, I was on for what I would say was a top 3,
Yeah.
and I crashed near the bottom, which, yes, you have to get over the line. But the speed's there.
But you can see the...
Yeah. And I just needed that little bit of a break for it to come around.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of it's a mental thing as well.
Yeah.
I had a lot of stuff going on in my head. And
does that come because I obviously see you as one of the guys that, again, probably because you keep yourself to yourself, but you don't seem to... I feel like stuff doesn't faze you like it does other people.
Oh, it does. Everybody... Like, I think I listened to a podcast a couple of days... it was a clip from a podcast, and I think it was actually Jackson talking about one of the races, and he was like practically spewing up before the race.
Yeah.
In his hotel room or something.
Just from nerves.
I think maybe... No, in fact, I think at this point he was actually sick, so this doesn't actually stand up. But people spewing right on the start line, like,
yeah.
I would never
Fuck,
do
does
that.
it? Yeah.
So maybe I am like my old team manager at Cube said, I've never seen anyone as mentally strong when it comes to racing, but everybody's getting nervous.
Mm.
It's intense.
I always found...
1 second. In effect, you've got how many races? Let's say 7. So if you've got 7 final runs, let's round it up to 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It's 35 minutes to do a year's work.
Yeah.
So the intensity and the pressure is pretty up there.
Yeah. So I always felt like I'd perform better if I was nervous.
Yeah, if you're not nervous and you don't
care, yeah. But then you never, once you've started your run as well, those nerves, you don't feel them anymore, right? You've got the task in hand.
It's just, you're like in a zen state.
Yeah.
Like I've sat there before and I've thought, like, you're just an object. On this bicycle. Like, you aren't anybody at this time.
Yeah.
Like, you're not thinking. If you are thinking, then it probably could go very
There's a
wrong
problem.
very shortly. But yeah, it's the same when you do anything. Like when I do a 20-minute moto on my motocross bike, then you do have a bit more time to think. But for the most part of it, you're just in this sort of zen state.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just mental.
Do you remember much about your race runs when you finish? Or are you sort of the guy that gets to the bottom?
Back to you, throughout the evening.
Yeah, but it is kind of when you get to the bottom, it's like, I can't remember what just happened for the last 3 minutes.
Yeah, because you can't dwell on it, can you?
Yeah. Well, again, you probably it's not in your conscious thought at the time.
What's done is done.
Yeah.
Like in the run, if you make a mistake and you get pissed off about it, you're only going to mess the next bit up.
Yeah.
So what's done is done. It's in the past. Like, you can't do anything.
Yeah.
So concentrate on what you can do and get on with it.
Mm. What so what sort of tracks would you like to see going forward? These are very this is actually more structured questions than what I planned for this, but here we go. Because again, you probably more of a technical track sort of guy, seems to favour you quite well.
Yeah, like the race we did up here on Skyline I did the course preview with Eddie, and
it's gnarly.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
That could be there's a reason some of the track was called World Cup, I guess. But we don't get tracks like that so much, and when we do now, the bikes are so aggressive and everyone's going so fast, and you have with the extra race run, you have more time on track. So then that gives more people more time to get on lines. So then everybody's on the fastest line. Yeah. Within reason. Because everybody's got someone up there filming.
Watching,
and timing. So the tracks like Val de Sol, for example, is so far gone. They need to just build a new track.
Would you like it if UCI said no more filming for practice? Obviously it'd be hard, but you couldn't manage it with the media, I guess. But can people still do their own timing in sections? Because it was like
Yeah, you
special.
can do.
Do
Yeah.
you think that should be allowed, or do
I
you reckon?
dabbled with that. With Madison, we did that.
Well, you'd have to if everyone else is doing it,
Not
but
everybody's doing it, but there are not with timing.
yeah,
But the use of an iPhone in your hand now is good.
yes, yeah,
Like because I'll time off my GoPro through certain sections.
yeah,
And I've gotten like really good with timing with the stopwatch on my phone. Like I can hit 9.83 2 out of 3 times. You know,
yeah,
if that's how long the section takes.
yeah.
So you just mark a tree and a tree and.
Just bang it, yeah,
But yeah, the tracks. There's a lot more bike park stuff now.
yeah,
Like, the bikes with the high pivots and stuff like that. I feel like are going away a little bit. Like it was a bit of a craze.
yeah,
But you need a bike that pumps really well now. No,
yeah.
high pivot bikes don't necessarily as a high pivot
rider.
itself.
Yeah,
they don't necessarily pump the best.
yeah, definitely
They're
a bit more
good once
planted.
you get it in a straight line, flat out. But I think you need more a bike that carries speed in berms as well, which to the riders dislike, if you like, then that's not good for the riders. But for spectating and watching on whichever platform it's on now,
Yeah,
it's better to watch. The times are super tight.
yeah,
It's like watching downhill skiing. You know, everybody's doing the same thing.
yeah,
So yeah, it's going more like that for the people watching at home, I think. And the rumour is that they want to get the tracks down to a shorter time. I don't know if that's true or not, but it does make sense
for the
that they would want
broadcast.
to do that, so each rider gets almost a full run.
Yeah,
So like places like Fort William and stuff, I don't know.
would they have like maybe because that's like Fort William, Montana is so sort of cemented into the
Iconic,
yeah. It'd be hard to
get rid of them.
I
did think Fort William was going, but just changing from changing organisers.
Oh yeah,
Now ESO are running it, whereas I forget what the brand was. Leslie and Mike don't run it anymore.
yeah. I didn't know too much about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the old start at Fort William years and years ago. That used to be like
the first World Cup is Fort William this year, so
oh, it is.
yeah, should be good.
That's right. Yeah, in May.
Don't know what month it is.
Yeah, so it'll come around pretty quick.
Yeah.
So we're kind of getting to the end. So just wrapping up, you've obviously got the snow bike coming up next. That's technically your first race of the season, World Championship.
Yeah. First race, World Champs.
And then have you got anything other than sort of Fort William locked in, or are you still, I guess, looking at what bike contracts will be there? Have you got your plans?
I'll be there every World Cup.
No, sorry, but between the snow race and Fort William, do you have what's your schedule looking like?
Sure, no, I'll probably get away to Portugal, do some more good riding.
Yeah.
Just a few, like 3-4 day trips, and then I'll just be at home, getting in shape.
Yeah. Will you try and fit an actual holiday in between now and then, or are you just fully on the grind now?
Because like physical training here maybe slips a tiny bit. I need to get home and get squared up and get fully on it.
Yeah, and I guess you probably just need that for yourself as much as physically.
Yeah, that's it.
Like for your brain.
Yeah, mentally, I need to work on the mental game and come out swinging.
Yeah, well, like I say, I think as far as the riders go, I feel like obviously I can't speak too much for you because you know yourself better than anyone, but you always come across as probably the guy with probably one of the best mental games out of everyone.
Yeah, I've been there a while now.
Yeah, well, that's true.
I know what it takes. Like we said earlier, there's not that many people who've won races, let alone 2 rainbow jerseys and 4 World Cups. So I know how to do it. It's just
getting back there.
Pieces of the puzzle together on that Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah, good shit.
There we go.
We can wrap her up. There's nearly an hour.
What time are we on? It's 8:45 New Zealand time.
How's that? Good evening.
Time.